Hi everyone, Michelle Morgan here with tips on trips. And today I'm going to be covering Hainan Airlines. I recently flew this airline for the first time from LAX to Beijing, and I had never heard about it, so I want to go ahead and share my experience with the airline. First and foremost, as soon as I walked on the plane, it was very clean and there was a nice feel as soon as I walked on, so I felt very comfortable. And of course, I had done some research prior to even booking the flight. So I saw that it had some good reviews, but I also want to share what I experienced as well. The first thing that happens when you get on the flight, well, this was a long flight. I was flying from LAX to Changsha for the first leg. And as soon as you walk on the plane, you get to your seat, they're going to have a blanket, pillow, and they're going to have these cute little travel pouches that have socks inside, earplugs, a mini toothbrush, toothpaste, and also a sleep mask that you can put over your eyes when you're ready to sleep and you don't want to see the light peeking in, whether if it's the morning or if the lights are on inside the cabin. They also provided earphones so that you may utilize their in-flight entertainment. They had a great movie selection that I watched a few movies on my round trip to and from Beijing. And they also had games, music, and then you could also utilize, where they tell you where you're at, where you're flying, where you're located, how fast the plane is going, things like that. The airline also offered USB charging ports, and in on the first flight, on the first leg of my flight from LAX to Changsha, they did have the charging outlets that you could utilize as well. But on all flights, we were able to use the USB port to charge our phones. I don't remember on any other of my flights, except the first one, them having the charging outlet. The seats also recline comfortably as well. The food was also good on the our first flight from LAX to Changsha. They didn't offer everything that was exactly on the menu, but they let you know what your options are, and the food was pretty tasty. I was satisfied, and even though they didn't offer everything, to me it wasn't a big deal. To me the meals were great. I felt satisfied, and it was great to have some food while you're on the plane. And the flight attendants are constantly coming by asking you if you want something to drink. And one of the things that's great is I got to drink some green tea while I was flying out in the air. So flying in economy was comfortable overall. I took some pictures of the seats in business class. Didn't get a chance to fly business class on Hainan, but definitely looks like an enjoyable experience as well, and an experience I'd like to enjoy on one of their flights. So overall, economy seating was great. Business class looks great as well. There's also a note that I'd like to make in terms of something that I learned while flying into China is that here in the States, I'm used to looking for the airline I'm flying and the logo, and I know where to go. Well, when we transferred into Changsha first, there was a little confusion because they don't have the airline logos on the counters, because we had to get our bags off the carousel and we had to recheck in for our next flight that was flying into Beijing. So there was a little confusion, and basically what I did at that point was I followed other people that were on the flight with us and knew that they were transferring to Beijing, so I kind of followed them to know where to go in order to check in for the following flight. And the second thing I learned also is that everything is up on their flight board. So all the information that you need, know your flight, your actual flight number, the airline and the flight number, and then their boards show the counter that you must check in at. So when I was leaving Beijing, I was able to look at I was able to look at the flight board, and I knew which counter to check in for my specific flight, because once again, uh, they all look the same, and there's nothing that says like you're flying Hainan, you're flying United, things that I was accustomed to being here in the States. Also, another thing that I want to mention is, if you can, is also check to see if there's any terminal transfers at the airport if you do have a layover. On our flight back home, we had a layover in Chengdu, and from there got off the plane and we had to change terminals. So we had to go to a completely different terminal in order to catch our flight back to LAX. So it's just the little things that you want to keep in mind, keep aware of, so that when you travel, you also feel prepared. I like to be prepared and kind of have a sense of, what's going on while I'm traveling in the airports, things like that. So overall, I would definitely fly Hainan Airlines again. We enjoyed a safe flight. Their service and their amenities were great. So 2 thumbs up to them, and thank you, Hainan, and we look to flying you soon. Treasure yourself and shine.